basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Benskop upon the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and pon the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal him. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop.
Hi.
Is the State Department currently preparing to engage with the Biden transition team? And if not, at what point does a delay hamper a smooth transition or pose a risk to national security?
There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration. All right, we're ready. The world is watching what's taking place here. We're going to count all the votes. When the process is complete, there'll be electors selected. There's a process. The Constitution lays it out pretty clearly. The world should have every confidence that the transition necessary to make sure that the State Department is functional today, successful today, and successful with the president who's in office on January 20th, mid-afternoon, will also be successful. I went through a transition on the front, and I've been on the other side of this. Hi.
Is the State Department currently preparing to engage with the Biden transition team? And if not, at what point does a delay hamper a smooth transition or pose a risk to national security?
There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration. All right, we're ready. The world is watching what's taking place here. We're going to count all the votes. When the process is complete, there'll be electors selected. There's a process. The Constitution lays it out pretty clearly. The world should have every confidence that the transition necessary to make sure that the State Department is functional today, successful today, and successful with the president who's in office on January 20th, mid-afternoon, will also be successful. I went through a transition on the front, and I've been on the other side of this. I'm very confident that we will do all the things that are necessary to make sure that the government, the United States government, will continue to perform its national security function as we go forward.
So you believe there's widespread voter fraud, that the reports that we're getting from Pennsylvania, from Michigan, showing vote totals in massive leads or significant leads with 99% reporting are going to be overturned, and that the United States failed to conduct a fraudulent free election?
Rich, I'm the Secretary of State. I'm getting calls from all across the world. These people are watching our election. They understand that we have a legal process. They understand that this takes time. Right? It took us 37 plus days in an election back in 2000. We conducted a successful transition then. I'm very confident that we will count, and we must count every legal vote. We must make sure that any vote that wasn't lawful ought not be counted. That dilutes your vote if it's done improperly. Got to get that right. When we get it right, we'll get it right. We're in good shape.
Should foreign leaders not be calling
we're in good shape.
President-elect Biden?
Who was next?
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata from Vietnam, and Since 1965, I become a voter. And I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. I have none.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
Good night. How are you guys doing? Hey, guess what? It's 40 minutes after 8 o'clock, 40 minutes after 9 o'clock in Guyana. And hey, what's happening on the good front of things, the good side of things? Forget about the PPP and their propaganda and all manner of things. And so people have been calling me and say, Mark, are you okay? I'm like, why wouldn't I be okay? Yes, sir. What's going on with them? But why wouldn't I be okay? Come on. You know, the PPP regime is so desperate. That criminal Kwame McCoy, that convict Kwame McCoy, and the convict Jason Abdullah and so forth, they're convicts. What else do you expect them to do? Sit and get taxpayers' money? They're a bunch of dunces, you know. Half a CXC subject, half a CXC subject. The other one got nothing, absolutely nothing. What do you guys expect those criminals to do, right? Propaganda, and who's arrested and who's not arrested and all. No, they are criminals. And very soon they'll have to be out of office and then bacchanal, if you know what I mean. All right. Hey, guess what? What's happening in your neck of the woods? What's happening in Queens, guys? What is happening in Queens? Somebody give me an update. What is happening in Brooklyn? What is happening in Staten Island? What is happening all across the United States of America? Some folks are panicking, and during the course of the day now, I have to talk to people. I have to assure. I have to give them my opinion on the matter. And a lot of these folks, for good reasons, they're panicking. They shouldn't be panicking. Sorry, I'm sounding like Trump. They shouldn't be panicking, but they're panicking. And in most cases, they have no reason to panic. But then again, as I've said to some folks, it's easier said than done, right? I can just imagine how some folks are, how they're feeling at this point in time. But my thing is, do not panic, guys. Do not panic. Do not panic. Do not panic. Tony Hack, calm down yourself and bluff. And sometimes when people are in power, they don't bluff, you know. Tony Hack, here what we're going to do with Tony Hack tonight. My bomb strays right off the bat. We're going to block Tony Hack for 2 days. How many of you agree that Tony Hack should be blocked for 2 days? Those of you in the audience, if you say that Tony Hack should be blocked for 2 days, we will block him. Tell me how you feel. We will block Tony Hack for 2 days. We will block him. We'll block him, right? So what else is happening, guys? All of you. Good night to all of you. Good night. Everybody agreeing that he should be blocked. Tony Hack, you're going to be blocked, my friend. You will be blocked. Where's the block button? Oh, we can't find it? All right. We'll deal with that later on. All right. What else is happening in your neck of the woods? Mike Pompeo. Yeah, he bluffed a lot of people, though. But at that time, it wasn't bluff. But let me say this to you guys. That something isn't right about what's happening with Mike Pompeo. Sorry. Something isn't right. And if you tell me, you guys calm down. We wouldn't block Tony. Tony, as we say in Guyana, right? Tony is everybody. So here what is happening. What are your thoughts though on Mike Pompeo? What are your thoughts? Next week I'll have some folks out from Washington D.C. I'll have some folks from Washington to be here, and they are going to be talking about some issues in Washington D.C. and other places and so forth and so on. So Next week, we will have a packed program in terms of interviewing individuals and bring them right here on 107.1 FM so that we can focus on important issues. So what else is happening in your neck of the woods? I noticed Tony Hack was panicking. Tony Hack loves to talk about toy soldiers, but I'm sure if a firecracker go off, Tony Hack will be the first to. But the evidence is always there to suggest and to show to the world that the best years over the past nearly 30 years, the best years in Guyana were under the coalition government. People were not being massacred, people were not being assassinated, and all these sort of things. And those were very, very good years. Unfortunately, the oil money came into being, and the billions of dollars of oil and oil wealth and all these things. And once you understand politics, Brenda Casey, please, Brenda, and others need to pull Tony Hack aside and give him a little lecture, because Tony Hack seems to know what's happening down Regent Street. His politics is confined to Regent Street, right, Tony? Let's leave Tony alone. He's a good soldier. He's not a toy soldier. He's a good soldier, right? Golly God, how are you guys doing? Now, what's happening with Mike Pompeo? What are your take? What's your take, guys, on Mike Pompeo? Because that was brutal what Trump did. It was brutal. Not surprising, though. It was brutal. It was brutal. And so we all knew, of course, eyebrows were raised, red flags were raised when Mike Pompeo was visiting Guyana so often. It has never happened before, and something was happening. Some deal was being struck, or some deal was already struck, and all these sort of things. And I'm not sure. And it's something that I've been saying to you guys for a while, and I've been saying it to some folks privately, that the evidence was quite clear that Trump wasn't pleased with Mike Pompeo. And I've said this before to you guys, that there were things that happened in Guyana during the 2020 elections that Mike Pompeo possibly didn't report properly to the White House. Lots of things, lots of questionable things happened during the course of the elections. And so with the PPP regime jumping up and feeling that they are comfortable with Trump administration, let me say this: Trump may not be comfortable with them. Trump may be after them. Trump may not. And Civic, it's something that, I've mentioned before, and some people say, how could you say that? But Civic is if Trump spit on the ground right now, my friend, Civic is my friend, he's a soldier, but if Trump spits on the ground right now, Civic will be the first one to plunge on the ground and grab that spit. All right. Good night to you, Civic. And so something isn't right. Let's don't go with Sarah Ann Lynch, the former U.S. ambassador to Guyana, because a lot of you guys weren't reading the cards properly. A lot of people weren't reading the cards properly. They just weren't reading the game. A lot of emotions, a lot of bumps, and all of these things. And some people who came under serious attacks on social media should not have been attacked, because they never read the game properly. And so when this guy, Mike Pompeo, went back into Guyana on 2 occasions, met with Irfan, met with probably cabinet members, and they were all happy. Oh, Mike Pompeo is back in Guyana. Maybe at that time, Mike thought he was going to get a position in the Trump administration. Maybe he thought he was going to return as Secretary of State or maybe Secretary of Defense, because he already served as CIA. director. He served as U.S. Secretary of State, and never before in the history we are hearing that a former Secretary of State, a former Director of Central Intelligence Agency, has gotten his details, his security details, revoked. And promptly, too, just days after Trump was sworn in, that's it. Mike is gone. Now, this got to be serious. Here why it's got to be serious, because the Iranians were apparently threatening. The Iranians were apparently threatening Mike Pompeo in terms of going after him and whatever. And so he had to have gotten Secret Service by his side, Secret Service agents. For the entire Biden administration, they allowed the Secret Service to protect Mike Pompeo. Now, you get my point, right? Of course, Bolton also got his Secret Service details revoked. But for 4 years, President Biden was not vindictive by removing this guy's security. He never did. But as soon as Trump got into office, that's it. Goodbye, Pompeo. That's it. No more security for you. No more security details. And of course, Mike Pompeo was invited by someone to, it wasn't a direct invitation by Trump for the inaugural, the inauguration of Donald Trump on the 20th. And so Mike Pompeo was there, but Mike was invited through a third party. And maybe Trump saw him there, and that is exactly what triggered this whole thing. That now, why is he doing? What is he there with Secret Service? No, get it going. That's it. That's it. So while Mike Pompeo wanted to revoke folks' visas in Guyana, judges were threatened, Claudette Singh was threatened, members of parliament and ministers of the coalition were threatened, all manner of things. Let me just say this. History has a way of repeating itself. And if you wish good people bad things, then bad things will return to you. There is a woman, I don't know if you guys know this woman's name, but I kind of like that woman. Her name is Karma. Her name is Karma. Not Bernadette, not Mary, not Francine, not Annette Cummings, not Kim Walker, not Karen Clark, not Hazel Johnson, not Monica Jones, not Alethea Jones, not Mary Figueroa, not Ann John, but Karma. 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 Right? Karma. Janet, Elias, Karma. All right. So now that this has happened to Mike Pompeo, what do you guys think might be going through Irfan's head? Because Irfan Ali and Jack Dale, they cozy up so much to Mike. First of all, they beg Mike for catfish. Mike never gave them catfish. They beg Mike for all manner of things. God in heaven knows what they beg Mike for. Mike never gave them anything. But Mike wanted something from them, and Mike got something from them, because during the course of the 2020 elections, there were some folks in Guyana who were threatening some members of the government then that they were going to call Mike Pompeo, they were going to do this, all manner of things. You see, if you guys know the truth and the corruption that happened in Guyana in the 2020 elections of what really took place, and phone calls that were made to Mike Pompeo and so forth and so on, a lot of bad things happen. Lots of bad things happen. Don't be fooled. If you guys hear some of the things that happened and what led to the PPP being in office, you guys would be surprised. Lots and lots of dirty things happen. Lots of dirty things. I'm disappointed. Trust me. I'm disappointed because the country was hijacked by goons. And there was nothing anybody could have done. Absolutely nothing. If anybody sneezed, guess what? Little Guyana, I'm talking about the 83,000 square miles. Anybody sneezed in Guyana, what do you think would have happened? Officials would have died. And all manner of things. Then there would have been a possible civil war in Guyana, major fighting. What would have happened? What would have happened? One of these days, you guys will hear the truth. You guys deserve to hear the truth. Palawala, who is a Karma Harris? Oh man, there's Kamala and there's Karma. Palawala, oh man, oh Palawala, don't do this to us. And Joe Blackman has a point, but yet a lot of you guys, some of you guys don't know what really transpired, and a lot of things that transpired, some of these individuals cannot come out publicly and say a word. Lots of things transpired. The PPP was installed. The PPP rigged the elections. Why you think not Granger? Why you think Jack Dale every week at his so-called press conference, his babysitting class that he has on Thursday? Because it hurts him. He knows that he's guilty, that they rigged the elections. They were installed and it was planned. That's exactly what happened. I keep saying this to you guys. It was planned. The coalition didn't lose the elections. Granger didn't lose the elections. And while there were some members of the APNU coalition government who were a disappointment, because they also, I don't want to use the word sold you guys out too, right? But I'll use the word tonight. I'll use the word. Then some of them bunks up and say, Granger didn't want to be sworn in. Claudette called Granger and tell if it's all sort of conspiracy you started to hear. All sort of conspiracy. I am telling you guys, there is more to the story. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the conspiracy. There was a regime change. The PPP rigged the elections with the help of some folks who are foreigners. It was a regime change in order to keep the billions of dollars. And we know how the regime change started. They've realized that Granger, the second term as president of Guyana, was not going to be easy with Exxon. It is not that he was going to kick Exxon out. Exxon has spent a heck of a lot of money in terms of the drilling and so forth. Fair enough. A business is a business. And the deal was signed since Janet Jagan time. So a business is a business. It's not that Granger was going to kick Exxon out. But what Granger was going to do on his second term was to fight for you, a better deal for you. Because advantage was taken of the whole situation, while most of you didn't know that he was incognito, so to speak, because of his cancer and chemotherapy. And while he was going through his chemotherapy, I'll leave that for now. You guys read between the lines what happened during that process. You guys read between the lines what happened during that process. And so there are folks who don't know, and then they're going to jump up and they're going to say, Granger let me down. He should have never give up. He should have accept when Claudette called him for him to be sworn in. Those things are people who have a vested interest to hoodwink you guys would start those sort of a rumor. It never happened. Mike Pompeo called for David Granger, President Granger, on 2 occasions. He said it. David Granger never took Mike Pompeo's calls. Never did. Never did. He didn't believe in sucking up to the likes of people like Mike Pompeo. Characters like Mike Pompeo. And when I say people like Mike Pompeo, I'm not inserting his ethnicity there at all. And so that's exactly what happened. There's sometimes I want to talk to you guys, but then again, I pull back. And then again, I want to talk to you guys. And then I pull back because I understand emotions and so forth. And a lot of you might say that the coalition should have been fighting more. The coalition, Granger, should not have given up power. But let me say this to you guys. Have you asked yourselves whether he had any other choice? And if he didn't, then the big question is, what would have happened to Guyana? It is all about the oil wealth. It's all about the billions of dollars. It's not about the people. It is just not about the people. It's not about democracy. And if folks like Mike Pompeo, could come out and threaten judges and so forth and so on. Just imagine. Now there's a new fish on the block. Pierre Cromwell, whoever Pierre Cromwell is saying, are you the mouthpiece of Mr. Granger? It's where you come from. That's what we're gonna talk the real Guyanese stuff. It's where you come from. You're not listening, you know. And as I've said, I am a political commentator. I'm a talk show host. I'm giving you guys my opinion, and my opinion is also based on what I know, right? So don't come here and ask whoever you are, Pierre Cromwell, whether are you a mouthpiece for David Granger. No, I'm not upset by the question, right? I'm not, Pierre. I'm not, comrade. I'm not. I'm just not. But I'm just telling you guys, what I'm saying is that there's more to talk, but now is just not the right time to talk. That's all I'm saying. That's all I wish to say. Now, we are not going to get rid of Pierre Cromwell just yet, because I don't think that is. I don't think that's a question that warrants throwing him in a trench. It's a legitimate question, but if he listens, then he would understand. But that particular question, right off the bat, I'm able to read between the lines where they're coming from, right? And you can read somebody's mind with just one question. And I just read Pierre Cromwell's mind. So I know what's going on there. Trust me, I know what's going on there. Pierre Cromwell might not be Pierre Cromwell, right? All right, so Pompeo's role in the elections might not have left a good taste in the mouth, so to speak, of in the mouth of Donald Trump, because Donald Trump may have had a different view of David Granger. Right, Tony Hack, and I know you get your personal thing with Tony Hack, and if we can just be constructive and objective, at least for tonight, we'll appreciate it, Tony Hack. Now, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, that Donald Trump may not have gotten the full picture of what really transpired in the 2020 elections as a result of Mike Pompeo's personal intervention in the 2020 elections. They are senior foreign diplomats, former foreign diplomats who are aware as to what transpired, who are upset about what transpired, but enough said on that issue for now. A lot of folks are upset because Guyana would not have been where it is today. It is corrupt. It is corrupt. It is dangerous. And you, the people of Guyana, will have to make that decision in the next elections to vote the corrupt PPP out of office. What the PPP regime needs to come out and tell the Guyanese people is whether Mike Pompeo is on the payroll or whether anyone close to Mike Pompeo is doing business in Guyana. We need to know that. And we need to know that as early as possible. And if Air Finale might be watching or peeping or Jack Deere, they need to come straight out and tell the Guyanese people what sort of business transaction they have with Mike Pompeo. I repeat, what sort of business transaction they have with Mike Pompeo. Listen to Mike again.
Mr. Secretary,
Hi.
is the State Department currently preparing to engage with the Biden transition team? And if not, at what point does a delay hamper a smooth transition or pose a risk to national security?
There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration. All right, we're ready. The world is watching what's taking place here. We're going to count all the votes. When the process is complete, there'll be electors selected. There's a process. The Constitution lays it out pretty clearly. The world should have every confidence that the transition necessary to make sure that the State Department is functional today, successful today, and successful with the president who's in office on January 20th.
All right. So tomorrow we should have Tom. Tom is caught up with family business, of course, and we all do need that. We all do need to focus on that. And if Tom Anderson is watching, congratulations. His daughter has been accepted thus far in a couple of universities. And we want to take this time out to say congratulations to his daughter and congratulations to all of them in the household. Congrats to you, Tom Anderson. And so, Mike Pompeo, what do you guys think is happening? Arlene Rubin Benjamin is saying Mike Pompeo is a liar. Mike Pompeo is a liar. And for those of you who are now joining us, you probably heard this already, that Trump revoked security detail for Pompeo and others despite threats from Iran. The officials had been part of an aggressive posture against Iran during President Trump's first term. So if they have been, as it says here, part of an aggressive posture against Iran during President Trump's first term, and they felt the need to secure those guys, Mike Pompeo and others, and President Biden didn't remove the security details at all. But days after Trump took office, that's it. Revoked everything. Francine Cruz, what do you say? Troy Fraser is asking, what about Sarah? I assume that the Sarah you're referencing is the former U.S. ambassador to Guyana, Sarah Ann Lynch. I'm not sure what your question is, Troy. Do you want an opinion? My opinion on Sarah Ann Lynch? I think that Sarah Ann Lynch, this is my opinion, mind you, I do believe that Sarah Ann Lynch did a lot to avoid corruption in Guyana. I do believe that Sarah Ann Lynch did a lot to keep the money launderers and the gold smugglers and those who are associated with terrorist gangs around the world out of oil deals and oil investments and so forth. Those local ones in Guyana. You know who some of them are, right? And so Sarah Ann Lynch, in the latter part of her term in Guyana, again, in my opinion, it appears as though the PPP, Jack Deere, didn't trust her. Jack Deere didn't like her. And that's just my opinion. It is said that Jack Deere whispered to some folks that Sarah Ann Lynch wasn't working in their best interest. And accusations and all sorts of things started to peddle against former U.S. Ambassador Sarah Ann Lynch. You notice this article, Reuters article. Jack Deere started to whisper to people about this U.S. probing Exxon contractor in Guyana for smuggling drugs and gold. That's the Mohammed, Azruddin Mohammed and his father. They later got their visas revoked. Well, not visas. They couldn't travel. They can't travel to the U.S. They are currently under sanctions, heavy sanctions. And so, that is what's going on with these folks. Occasionally they pop up, grab a little wheelchair here, a little small house there, and you guys got to be cautious with these sort of things, right? But lots of things happened during the course of Sarah Ann Lynch's time there in Guyana, and majority of those things were in favor of the people of Guyana. One of the things that she wasn't tolerant about was corruption and drug dealings and money launderers and these sort of things. And so some of you guys were reading the card incorrectly. She, of course, Sarah Ann Lynch was the ambassador of the United States of America to Guyana. And therefore, whatever the Secretary of State wants done, guess what? Guess what? Read between the lines again. Read between the lines again. That's all I'm saying. Tonight is a night where I'm saying to you guys, read between the lines. If you ask Barrett Jackdale about Sarah Ann Lynch right now, his bums will raise. That's all. Sometimes some things are better left unsaid. Christopher Chichester say American getting their paperwork to extradite the Mohammeds. Well, you never know. That could possibly be in the pipeline. Of course, it is said that extradition warrants and other stuff could very well be in the pipeline. Who knows? Who knows? I guess only they will know by now what's happening, and maybe it's probably part of the reason you're seeing certain activities make it look good, right? People sometimes try to make themselves look good, mind you, if you know what I mean. Don Graves is saying here that David Granger should be our presidential candidate for 2025. All right, that's Don Graves' opinion there, mind you. Let me see what else you guys are saying. I'm reading some of your comments here. Wayne Caesar is with us. How are you doing, Wayne? Wayne says she may have done all that while supporting the PPP. You see, it's not a matter of supporting the PPPC. It's being there. The PPPC, as corrupt as they are, the government of the day, the installed government of the day, and diplomats have to be diplomatic. And sometimes when the diplomats are diplomatic, some of you read them the wrong way. Diplomats have to be diplomatic. And she is a seasoned diplomat, mind you. She's seasoned to the job. She's not like this Paku. Certainly she's not like this Paku. This is not a diplomat. This is a Paku. That's Sam Hines. This is a Paku. Yeah. This is a Paku. Sam Hines is a Paku. Sam Hines is not a diplomat. Sam Hines is not a diplomat. Jomo and Kruma, just leave me alone tonight. Right? Good night. I almost didn't make it tonight with you guys, but I decided to just hop on and chat with you guys. Quincy Andrews is saying Sarah was CIA, all manner of things. Mind you, Sarah Ann Lynch is former ambassador. Sarah Ann Lynch is still playing a very active role. Southcom and those sort of things. Sarah Ann Lynch is still playing an active role. One of these days, some of you will get to understand what's happening and what really transpired. Sam Hines, look at him. He's not a diplomat. What Francine Cruz is saying here, Mr. Nigel Hughes did a wonderful job with GCOM today. Where is Aubrey Norton? I don't know. That's a good question. And I got to say that I appreciate what Nigel Hughes did there today in being aggressive. In being aggressive. In being aggressive on the issue. But talk is not going to do this trick here, Nigel. It's good that they held a press conference today, but talk at press conferences, while it's good, mind you, don't get me wrong, it's better than what we've seen coming out of Congress Place, which is not much talking, not much action, occasional press release and thing. That's not going to do the trick. It's just not going to do the trick. So on that count, I will say at least the AFC went out there and know that they need to respond on this GCOM issue, and so they went out there via their press conference and did what they had to do. And so I say thank you to Nigel Usdem for doing that. Tomorrow is Friday, then we'll get to the PNC's press conference. But again, as I've said earlier, that the PNC shouldn't just wait until every Friday for a press conference. They can have a press conference every day. They can have a press conference every other day. They just need to do that. They need to talk up. And they can't just rush and say, oh, well, they're walking on the ground. This is not about just walking on the ground. They need to fight. Are they fighting enough? In my opinion, no, they're not. They're not fighting enough. And so they need to be more active out there and going after the PPP regime. So on this count, I said, mind you, I'll have to agree with Francine Cruz. Probably the first time in a long time I'm agreeing with Francine Cruz. So Wayne Caesar is asking me here now. Wayne Caesar is asking me here. Sorry about that, guy. So Wayne Caesar is asking here, Mark Anthony Benchop, are you saying the PNCR PR is weak? Well, not just the PNCR PR, the PNCR, the opposition is just too weak. And then when you have weak opposition, then you'll have certain folks are going to pop up and they're going to say they want to run for president. They want to this questionable individuals. Guyana should not be the type of country that it is. It's too beautiful and it's too rich for Pakus to be, signaling that they want to start a political party. They want to do this and that. So you've got to be careful of those individuals. And if we had a strong enough opposition, then we would not have been hearing have some individuals who could hardly speak, who has some individuals who have some horrible track records and these sort of things. Then we would not have been going through what we're going through currently. So because any Paku now say they want to run for president, any Paku, and we know who those Pakus are. Serious allegations against some of them in the United States of America, from money laundering to gold smuggling and all. Is that what Guyana turned to? Is that what Guyana has come to? Guys, come on. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. All right, so what else is happening in your neck of the woods that we could probably talk about? We know poor Mike Pompeo, poor Sam Hines, and all of them. But there's some other stuff that I wanted to talk about. This is a guy. This guy is making the PPP tremble right now. I repeat. This guy is making the PPP tremble right now. This guy is making the PPP tremble right now. His name is Winston Jordan, former finance minister. And Jagdeo is getting nightmares. Nightmares, not nightmares because of Aubrey Norton or Nigel Hughes. nightmares because of Winston Jordan, the former finance minister, is putting the PPP to shame. Is putting the PPP to shame. This guy is the form of heavyweight we need in the opposition. These are the kind of guys, we need to see at press conferences. That is what we need to see. These are the kind of guys. These are financial specialists, financial experts, can tell you about the economy, can rip the budget apart, inside out, chew it up. That's Winston Jordan. And these are the guys that should be around the table at Congress Place, at press conferences. So kudos, even though that Paku, that dunce, Barajagdeo, insulted the Honorable Winston Jordan today. Jagdeo can't even put his foot, none of his two left feet, in Winston Jordan's shoes. Not a single one of them. Not Ashni Singh, not Barajagdeo, not Irfan Ali, not a single one of them. And so tonight, our special person for the night, on Monday, our special person was Member of Parliament Nima Flu Bess. Good night, MP Bess, if you're watching. And then we had, who was it? Anil Sugrim. Councillor Anil Sugrim from Corriverton was our other special person. And tonight, the Honorable Winston Jordan. The Honorable Winston Jordan is our special person for the night. Kudos to you, Mr. Jordan. Continue doing what you're doing. Continue exposing them. And every time Winston Jordan says something, every time he says something, every single time, Jagdeo or Ashni Singh or one of those guys have to go and correct themselves. Because Winston Jordan makes them look like little boys. Winston Jordan make them look like dunces. And this is how you go after the corrupt PPP regime. Christopher Chichester, you seem to know a lot. But I'm not sure that Mr. Jordan is a Harvard grad. But he went to Harvard and he did some courses there at Harvard. But he's a brilliant, brilliant man. I think he did a couple of courses, certificate courses at Harvard University. So this is the guy. If Aubrey Norton is watching, this is the kind of guy you need around you. These are the kind of folks you need around you, the heavyweights. No, I'm not knocking or throwing shades at anybody who is not really a heavyweight at this time. But this is what we need. This is what the opposition needs, to get competent individuals around them so that those who are not yet experienced can gain some proper knowledge. Guys like Winston Jordan should play a bigger role. Should play a bigger role. And this is the first time. And now let me say to Christopher Chichester, again, I'm saying yes, Mr. Jordan has did some certificate courses at Harvard University. And don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking. I like the guy. I like the guy, you know. You know why I would say that I like the spirit. I like his spirit. Don't want to sound like Jagdeo and them, but I like the guy, you know, is that he is a fighter. They locked him up. Well, they arrested him. And guess what? He's back again in them. Not like some people get locked up and they're frightened and you can't see. Sorry about that. They get not lock up, get thing up for a couple of minutes and they gone disappear. You can't find them. They don't want to protest no more. They don't protest and all sorts of things. But now Winston Jordan, not that guy. That guy techie handcuffs, took his charges, calmed down, catch himself back, and came back and look what he's doing to the PPP regime. Look what he's doing to the PPP regime. The man is not afraid of them. Every single night, Jack Dale losing sleep. Every single night, he's losing sleep over Jordan because they're afraid that Jordan will destroy them on that budget. And this is the time we need someone like Winston Jordan debating the budget. There is no one right now in Parliament who can debate the budget better than Winston Jordan right now. No other person. Can you point to someone right now in Parliament who can debate the budget? Ray Fernandez is saying Jordan better than all. Oh, come on. Miles. Mr. Norton is not an economist. Mr. Norton is not a financial expert. And so now we've got to be reasonable here. It's night and day. Night and day. Guys like Winston Jordan, like the Eat Maths book or the Eat Calculator or something like that. Guys, that's how they are. That's how they are. And we got to give these guys their kudos. We got to. I'm not saying everything every single time agree with Mr. Jordan, but we got to give kudos. These are experts in their field. Expert. Winston Jordan, if you're watching, take a hint. Take a hint. So for Jack Dale to insult, and look what Jack Dale likes to do. He likes to insult qualified people. First, he insulted, It was Irfan Ali who insulted Dr. David Hines, a man who attended Harvard, got his PhD, and all manner of things. And Irfan Ali had the nerve to address David Hines, Dr. David Hines, as a joker. Irfan Ali is more the joker because nobody knows what university he went to. Nobody knows what university he went to. No one, absolutely no one knows what university Irfan Ali attended. No one knows. He doesn't speak like the type that has a PhD. And nobody knows who did the exams and who did the writings and so forth for him for his PhD. So these guys are a pack of dunces. And they can't put their foot in the shoes of a Winston Jordan. They can't do it. They're a pack of dunces. And hopefully tomorrow when Aubrey Norton hosts his press conference, hopefully they'll have big weights, heavyweight guys like Winston Jordan. Heavyweight. Power pack. Yulee North. Oh man, no disrespect to Elson Lowe. Elson Lowe is not in the category of a heavyweight. He's now learning. Yes, they need experienced people like Winston Jordan around. How are you going to say Elson? Elson is okay. A youngster, he has a far way to go, but Elson is not a heavyweight as yet, man. Oh, don't do that to us on the show, Yulee North. Good night to Mr. Elson Lowe, but Mr. Elson Lowe is still got a long way more to go to catch up with a Winston Jordan. Maybe Elson is a different kind of a small category heavyweight, but not a real heavyweight, not as yet. Maybe another 10, 15, 20 years, yeah. So again, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking Lowe. I've known Lowe several years now. Since he attended Queen's College. So this is not knocking the young brother, but he has a far way more to go. I like his energy, and you can't knock somebody for their energy and their commitment and so forth. And this is no disrespect to Mr. Lowe indeed, but this guy is a heavyweight. Winston Jordan is a heavyweight. He's been around the block for a while. Now, let me see here. Somebody said something and I wanted to bust out a laugh, but I decided not to because I'm live on the air. Now, Farina, the same plagiarism. And I'm sure that Farina is talking about air finale, right? Plagiarism there. Farina, correct me, please. You there? Come to the front of the class. When you say plagiarism, what exactly do you mean? Plagiarism, and who is plagiarizing? And it's kind of like how I see plagiarism is spelled there. Tom Anderson, how are you, sir?
Hey, good evening. I'm great, man. How are you, Mark?
Good night. Just as I was about to find a way to say good night to the folks, bang zoom, here you are. Bang zoom, right? Bang zoom. All right. Kudos to the former Finance Minister Winston Jordan. He's our special person for the night. Let's go straight to this guy here now. Trump revokes security detail for Pompeo and others, despite threats from Iran. Just after the elections, as we see here in the news, former U.S. Secretary of State Pompeo was on private visit to Guyana. And days after Trump took office, Trump revoked security detail for Mike Pompeo. Talk to us, please, Mr. Anderson. But before you do, congratulations. Your daughter has done well, has made you so proud. And she has made all of us, even though most of the people or all of the people obviously don't know who she is, other than she's your daughter. And we salute you, Tom. Let's have our operator remove this so we could see your facial expression. There you go. A proud dad. Congratulations, Tom, on your daughter's
Thank you. Really appreciate it, Mark. Really appreciate it.
And
thank you, everyone else who's celebrated with me. Really appreciate it, everyone. It's a big, milestone, man. It's just like it came so fast. It's like, whoa, but it's great.
Yep.
Yeah. So on this guy on Mike Pompeo. So look, this is from my take on it, just from my perspective as an American living over here, having done a lot of political work and whatnot, right? I look at it and I say, I just do the math and I go, well, what are the Trump people really, what do they really care about? What are they trying to do when they're going into government and they are removing security details, or they're placing people in certain places, or they're removing other people from other places? They said what they were going to do, that they were going to go after the deep state. That's what they said. And if anyone, any of the listeners, any of the viewers, if you want to know the quick definition of the deep state, what that is it's a set of bureaucrats, of career politicians, or people who are revolving door guys who come in and out of government from the private sector. And what they do is they set up their own personal little clubs with other bureaucrats and other officials, and they connect with each other and they share power with each other to not do the job that they're supposed to do for the government, but to do jobs that they want to do on the side, where they can make side money, they can do all kinds of other stuff, right? So that's the deep state. And the Trump people hate the deep state because the Trump people feel like they've been persecuted by the deep state. And so the first thing they're doing is they're coming in and they're dismantling and they're firing, they're getting rid of anybody who they think is a deep state person. And clearly they think Pompeo is. And here's the reason why. To remove his security detail, that's a big deal because his life is under threat from the Iranians. That's a big deal. All right. And on top of that, not giving him a position in the administration. That was the first eyebrow raiser, was Pompeo didn't get a position. And now he gets his security revoked. So what that's saying is that potentially, and maybe the PPP didn't know this, but they had meetings with Pompeo, right? So essentially, it's possible that the PPP have been in cahoots and in concert with the deep state here in the United States. So if they were involved with the deep state, Who knows now? All bets are off. Who knows what they were doing? How many American citizens did they attack? How many Guyanese nationals who live here that they don't like did they go after, where they could use U.S. government assets to go after these people? I wonder. I'm sure they did it. And so they are now in a very interesting position because Trump's in office now and they're quiet. Because why? They know that they were in cahoots with the deep state, and Trump hates the deep state. So that means these PPP guys may not be in the best position right now when it comes to the United States of America and President Donald Trump. That's what this means.
All right. Exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. And so Jagdeo, even at his press conference, didn't have much to say today because they're very worried. They're very concerned because their main link, they thought that their main link to the Trump administration this time around would be Mike Pompeo. Mike Pompeo thought that he was going to be the next Secretary of Defense. Nothing at all. No position for him. He rushed to Guyana. Again, Tom, when he rushed to Guyana, people were just wondering why he rushed to Guyana. Any thoughts going through your mind there on his reason?
They did something. Okay, I remember Jagdeo gave a list. Remember that? Of all of the enemies that he wanted the IRS and these other agencies to go after in the United States. They probably went and worked on that list. So there are probably innocent victims here who no one knows about, who have been attacked behind the scenes by the deep state in cahoots with the PPP. If that's the case, then let's see who they attacked, man, because it's one thing to go after nobody people, but if they went after some Trump people and no one knows and the Trump people find out, oh man, it's not going to be nice. So this is a very precarious position for the PPP. This does not look good for them. I don't know what Mike Pompeo was doing, but to go from a position where he was one of the closest, highest ranking officials within the previous Trump administration to now not having a job, and on top of that, having his security detail removed, he must have did something really bad. And for him to rush to the PPP and have these meetings in Guyana privately, oh man, it had to do with these guys. So this is a big deal. And yeah, they're going to be quiet because I don't know what they did, but it sounds like they did something really bad.
Something really, really bad. And maybe this explains why they're doing a lot of kissing up, Tom. This was in Guyana, a place called Kitty. They erected this sign. They want to be in the good books of Donald Trump. You think this will work?
It might work, I hate to say it, but I hate to say it, man. But Trump does like when people, do this. Okay. This is the kind of stuff he likes to see. So they're doing what they know what Trump likes, and they're doing it, and they're going to continue to do this. So look, I don't think anybody can stay permanently in the bad graces of Trump unless you did something really bad. And in this case, I guess Pompeo hasn't. No one has figured out what Pompeo did yet. But when they figure it out, if Guyana had anything to do with it, boy,
no more catfish. No more. But Tom, it's pretty. You've done a lot of investigative work. You've done a lot of things, whatever it is, good things. Yeah, you brought down powerful people in the U.S. and so forth. But it has got to be something really, really bad for this to happen. A former director of the CIA, former Secretary of State, and all these, it's got to be something really bad. Check this out, Tom. President Biden for 4 years didn't do it. Trump took a couple of days and did it. To a man who served under his administration in two high-power agencies, CIA director and U.S. Secretary of State.
Yes, it's real bad. I don't know what he did, but whatever he did, it was bad. It was bad. It was bad. And it was some deep state stuff. Okay. So which means there's a bunch of people in the government right now who were working with Pompeo, who are probably listening to this, and they're real pissed off at me. but it's not my fault. Like I'm just letting everybody know what's going on, and people need to know what's going on because this is stuff that it's cross border, it's international in nature. And when we have someone as high ranking as Pompeo going down into countries like Guyana, and he's doing things that may not be above board, man, that's a huge international incident. That's a problem. So yes, people need to speak about this. Now, if any deep state guys in the government are getting, some heartburn and they don't want an American telling the truth as to what's going on here, fine, that's on you. But at the end of the day, if I were them, I would step away from this. And I've been saying it for a long time. The PPP are not the guys, if you're American, they're not the guys that you really want to talk to because they are so corrupt that at the end of the day, even if you do everything with them above board, they are going to do something on the side that is going to embarrass you because they can't help themselves. They cannot help themselves. This I do know about those guys. They can't help themselves. Okay. So whatever it is that happened, man, it's clear the PPP guys, they couldn't help themselves. They were involved with Pompeo and they thought, oh, this is pure power in our hands. And they did some things they shouldn't have done. And now the Trump guys are figuring it out. They've pulled this guy's security detail and they're going to continue going further. They're going to get it. They're going to catch everybody on this.
And catching everybody in this, keep saying that something went terribly wrong with the 2020 elections in Guyana, massive corruption, and the fact that Mike Pompeo played such an integral role is highly questionable. Maybe the situation in that part of the world would have been different had Mike Pompeo not made that major error. And maybe Trump has that on his mind. Maybe.
Oh, maybe. Maybe. That's correct.
Along with other things. Maybe.
Yep.
Who knows?
Who knows?
What's happening? There's a court, Tom, in Seattle, I believe. The court ruled, accepted an injunction against the birthright. What is your take on the ruling of the courts from moving forward? Because it's a good ruling, putting a block on it for now. Birthright citizenship.
Yeah, it's temporary. I mean, this is going to continue to go. This is what I was saying for the longest. This is going to be a battle, back and forth and back and forth. The Congress is going to get involved. They're going to have fights over this when it comes to the debt ceiling. There's a midterm election coming up where this issue is going to be on the ballot. Like it never stops. So, like we have been saying on the show, and we've been telling everyone, stay calm. Right? Because they're not going to be able to do some type of massive national sweep in every city all at once. Like they don't have the manpower for that. And on top of that, they need the assistance of local law enforcement to do that. And in a lot of these cities like Chicago, the mayor just said something recently. He was pissed off. He doesn't want to hear anything about ICE coming to Chicago because Chicago accepted like 30,000 Ukrainians. And everybody's fine with them coming. So the mayor of Chicago said, if everybody's fine with the 30,000 Ukrainians who came, then everybody else who's here is fine too. Get the hell out of my city. So that's where he is. And so when you're dealing with something like that, it's not so easy to go up into Chicago and do whatever you want when the mayor is that pissed off. On top of that, the mayor of Newark has put out a press release. He's pissed off because ICE went in and harassed a military veteran. And when the guy showed his military ID, the ICE agents didn't believe him and said, that's a fake when it was real. So now the Newark mayor is on the warpath saying ICE is terrorizing veterans, military veterans and citizens in Newark. And so the pushback is real and it's happening. And these guys are going to be caught up in all types of court battles and all types of different things all over the place. With that said, in the middle of all of this, the Trump people are requesting about 5 or 6 huge tent cities to be built that can house about 100,000 people at a time between all of them. And they're trying to get those built. So we'll see how this goes. But I don't know how they're going to get those tent cities filled, man. I just don't see it happening. I don't see the kind of cooperation they need from local law enforcement throughout the country in order to get those kind of numbers. So, yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where it's an uphill battle for the administration. I think in the end, it's going to take Congress to pass some legislation to make the system work again so that people can finally get through the system legally and not have to come here illegally, right? That's what we need. So we'll see if that happens.
They have family-based petitions. Folks have been waiting almost 20 years just to get into the system, get into the U.S. legally for 20-something years, and people have still been going through the legal route with adjustment of statuses and all these different things. It's quite legal. It's quite normal, and a lot of people are concerned. I say to them every day, it's like I become a counselor now and say, look, just remain calm, remain cautious, just look around. You have done nothing wrong. You are just not illegal, especially with those who have applications in, especially those who have an approved I-130 and so forth. Remain calm. You guys have done nothing wrong. But I know how vicious the system can be, especially what we're seeing now. And I agree with you, Tom, that people are beginning to push back. The mayor of Newark, the mayor of Chicago, and the only person that is probably acting like a little pussycat at the moment is the mayor of New York City. I don't know why. Do you know why, Tom? Or
man, you know how that goes. The mayor of New York City.
Yeah,
that guy. I noticed someone asked,
Menendez.
So yeah, Paula Walla Pride.
How do you pronounce his name?
Paula Walla Pride.
You got to say it with some sort of meaning, as though when you call his name, he must
Palawala.
Palawala.
Was Bob Menendez deep state or just Vino? He was both, but he was definitely deep state. Okay, no doubt about it. He's in the same group as Pompeo, right? With the same, he's got, these guys. What's interesting, Mark, is that our adversaries have gotten in on the deep state in a way that I think even the deep state is surprised. And this is where they've done it. All these agencies have to work with these confidential informants and these, background characters who give them secret information. Okay. And these are not guys who work for the government. These are private citizens who are out there breaking the law and then sharing the information with different agencies so they can use that to go after other people, right? And so what's happened is these guys like Menendez have created a situation where they have a network within the government that works with a lot of confidential informants and stuff. And what has happened is foreign governments have come in and they have co-opted these confidential informants. They have been paying them money. They have been going into business with them. And so when you have that situation, what's happened now is a lot of these deep state guys have gotten caught up in international problems because their network that has confidential informants and these guys are behind the scenes, behind their backs, cutting deals with bad guys all over the place and feeding the government bad information. A perfect example is longtime confidential informant for the FBI who had made up a story about Hunter Biden, that Hunter Biden was getting paid all this money and he was paying Joe Biden some of it from that Burisma company in Ukraine. Well, the guy admitted he lied and made up the whole thing. Well, that's the kind of guy that other governments would pay to lie to our government, right? So that's where we're having a lot of these problems. And I'll bet Pompeo and Menendez and these guys have been caught up in their little deep state games and can't get out of them. Clearly, Menendez has. Pompeo is starting to see the beginning of his issues pop up all around him. Yes, Menendez is a bad guy, no doubt about it.
Indeed, thank you so much, Tom. I don't know. We're looking at the time here. I know that people want to stay on. They're just coming on and in their numbers. But Tom, I know it's just a lovely night for you and your family, celebrating the success of your daughter, your kids. People oftentimes are very proud of their kids and the success stories, and I can just imagine how you're feeling. And so I don't want to hold you back much. But maybe you can return Monday or Tuesday, whenever. You're always welcome here anytime. But before we go, Tom, how do you feel about this? An ambassador, Guyana's ambassador to the U.S., his name is Sam Hines. He was the prime minister when Jack Diao was the quote-unquote president. And this is the Guyana ambassador to the U.S. in Washington, D.C. He is holding up a Make America Great sign. When I asked him why, yesterday I spoke with him, I said, why would you do this? You're not the ambassador for the PPP. You're the ambassador for the entire country of Guyana. He said, well, this is my personal view. Tom, what is your take on this? I've never seen an ambassador do something as silly as this.
Nah, man, this is Pompeo fallout, man. I'm telling you now, this is Pompeo fallout. They are trying to be the biggest Trump fans the world has ever seen. They are going to carry around MAGA signs. They're going to do whatever it takes to make Trump realize it wasn't them, it was Pompeo. So they're going to try to pin everything on Mike Pompeo now, the guy who they were taking photographs with and meeting with, and they were so happy. Now everyone is going to be able to see how the PPP operates, okay? They're your friends one day, and when it becomes inconvenient for them, look how quick they throw you away. Watch how fast they throw Mike Pompeo away, okay? Like he probably will never be able to come back to Guyana again. They're not going to invite him back. Why? Because they know if Pompeo shows up to Guyana in this situation, Trump is going to be pissed, right? So, yeah, Pompeo's never coming back as long as Trump's in office. Right. And these guys are trying to get in good with Trump as best they can.
But Pompeo has to go back, though.
I don't know how.
He has to go back. Because remember, if they have deals going in Guyana and Pompeo has secrets for these guys, he will have to get exactly what they promised. So
no, man, no, I don't think he's coming back to Guyana, man. Nah, man. I don't think so.
Because you don't think they want him back?
I don't think they want him back. I don't think he really wants to go back because, look, man, this is a sensitive situation. Guyana is one of those places in the world where things just disappear, and it's best just to leave it at that. I'm sorry, but that's how it goes. I think the guy's never coming back, man. You guys will never see him again, I don't think.
Oh, man. Who? Jagdeo or
Pompeo? Pompeo. I don't think he's coming back, bro. Now look at this. Look at Hines. He's walking around the world with, you know, those guys when you go outside of the maybe you have them in Guyana when there's like a jewelry shop or a place, a bodega where they have the sign guy out and he's flashing the sign around, come inside. Yeah. That's what they've got the ambassador to the United States as a sign man with a MAGA sign running around the place, telling the world how much they love Trump. So I'm telling you, man, that Pompeo is not coming back.
That's not good news for Jack Dew. And look at Jack Dew and Anil and all of these guys. Look at them and Mike Pompeo. I wonder what deal they all agreed to there. Who knows? Look at what's happening. Look at what's happening, Tom.
No, Trump and these guys are going to. They know all about this. They're watching this. This is a bad deal, bro.
Bad deal indeed. Tom Anderson again is. Tom, just cheers again. Wish we had here we go, man. Just cheers on the success story. I just love when parents, enjoy this moment. As a parent myself, I know what it's like. I know there are hundreds of other parents who always love to celebrate success stories of their kids. And we all feel good when our kids grow up and become very successful. I'm very happy. I'm very proud. I know how you feel. I saw your post, Tom. And I immediately realize what's happening and the joy. Congrats again, and give her our regards. Tell her the entire Guyana salute her and wish her all the best, Tom.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, guys. Really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it.
Good night.
So we'll be back. Tom is going to be back with us, and I just thought we have Tom on for a few minutes. I don't want to take much out of Tom for the night, but please congratulate him, his daughter. He's proud his daughter got into a few universities. I'm sure she's going to accept one. Of course, obviously, a song like Irfan there, of course, she's going to accept one. But congratulations again, Tom. And congrats to all of you in the audience, too, who share a success story. Maybe your kids, maybe yourself. 2025 is a year for you guys, all of us, to go up a step higher in whatever we do. And we must be able to celebrate with each other. There shouldn't be nobody envying anybody, but we should celebrate with each other. And Tom's children, they're all part of this village here, a big village where we support each other. So congratulations. Congratulations to Tom. Congratulations to all of you. All right. Before I go, let me say this. As an immigration consultant, the best that, and even lawyers, the best that individuals can do is to prepare your documents and send it into the system. As an immigration consultant, I have no authority over the timeline and the time that USCIS takes to adjudicate on a matter. I just wish it can be done as expeditiously as possible. I wish it can be done within a month. I wish it can be done within 2 and 3 months. There are some folks who are lucky enough to get it early o'clock, maybe 3 months, maybe 4 months, maybe 5 months, and so forth. But the process, it all depends on the workload of the individual. It depends on so many different things. But I know a lot of you guys are anxious. I know what is happening. We understand what is happening with you guys. Remain patient. Just be safe, be cautious, and continue to pray for favorable outcomes in your applications. Okay? I know how you feel. I sympathize with a lot of you guys feeling the way that you're feeling right now. I speak to so many people during the course of the day, and I can just feel the pain in terms of not knowing what to do, those who haven't filed an application as yet, or even those who have filed and they're waiting for an outcome, a positive outcome. Those of you who have not yet filed for your citizenship, feel free to do that. Some of you may have procrastinated a lot. Now is not the time to procrastinate. Please get it done, whether you have somebody around you that can get it done, whether you want to call me to get it done, of course, for you. Just do what is right. Do not leave yourselves open at all. These are not good times. We see what is happening right now. Don't take things for granted, guys. Hopefully sometime soon I'll have Yvette Clarke, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, on. She's doing a heck of a good job in fighting for you as well. Those of you here in Brooklyn is fighting for you guys. All right, so I've got to go. God bless you all. Continue to be safe, and let's continue to keep hope alive. There is a God, and God is going to protect all of you. But in order for God to protect you guys got to protect yourselves as well. You guys got to work. You guys got to make sensible decisions, in a sense that be cautious. If you know that they rounding people up in Queens or on Flatbush Ave, just be careful, be cautious. That's all I wish to say. All right, God bless you all. And sometimes I'm so happy to hear the success stories. Just prior to coming on the air, a young girl, maybe about early 20s, just called and said, and with tears in her eyes at this time, and I felt it for her too, this time, was very, very happy because of a success story. Very happy, and as it reads, sorry. As it reads, her case, approved. Your status, approved. She was literally in tears. And so I know how you guys feel. I know exactly how you guys feel. I'm with you all the way. God bless you all. I'll see you back tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. All right. Tata.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.